In a small town in West Virginia, a forest stands untouched by time. Locals call it Bloodwood Pines, but they don't speak of it after dark. Because those who enter don't always returns. Welcome to Dark Code. And tonight, we take you deep into the shadows of Bloodwood Pines, where whispers call your name, and death is always watching. Every small town has its secrets. But in Bloodwood Pines, West Virginia, the secrets are buried deep, hidden beneath the ancient trees, whispered through the wind, and etched into the soil soaked with blood. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a true horror, one that left 5 people dead, and an entire town haunted. It started with a missing person case in the fall of 1994. James Walker, a young man of 22, vanished without a trace after a camping trip in Bloodwood Forest. His friends said he had been acting strangely before he disappeared. He kept hearing whispers in the trees, voices calling his name. It's probably just the wind, they told him. But James insisted it was something more. He said the forest was alive, and it wanted him. Days passed, then weeks. The search parties found nothing, no footprints, no clothes, no signs of a struggle. It was as if the forest had swallowed him whole. Months later, in February 1995, the case took a darker turn. 3 hikers, a father and his 2 sons, were found dead in the same forest. Their bodies were discovered in a clearing, arranged in a perfect triangle, their faces frozen in expressions of pure terror. The cause of death, unknown. There were no wounds, no signs of an attack. The only clue was a single word, carved into a tree near the bodies. Leave. The town was gripped by fear, but it wasn't until the 4th victim that people started to speak about the curse of Bloodwood Pines. Her name was Emily Carter, a local high school teacher. One night, she drove into the forest, and never came out. Her car was found abandoned by the side of the road, the driver's door wide open. Her belongings were still inside, but Emily was gone. Days later, her body was found at the base of an ancient pine tree, her hands clasped as if in prayer. Her face was twisted in unnatural horror, her mouth open in a silent scream. But the most chilling detail: her eyes were missing. Rumors spread through the town. Some said Emily had been marked by the forest. Others believed she had fallen victim to something ancient that lived in the woods, something that fed on fear. Locals began to tell stories of whispers in the trees, shadowy figures seen at dusk, a presence that watched from the darkness. They called it the Pine Witch. Then came the final tragedy. In October 1995, a group of 4 friends ventured into the forest for a Halloween dare. Only one of them made it out alive. His name was David Collins, and his story would haunt Bloodwood Pines forever. David stumbled out of the forest at dawn, covered in scratches and mud, his clothes torn. He was rambling incoherently, his eyes wide with terror. she's coming, he whispered, over and over. When the police finally calmed him down, David told them what had happened. The group had been exploring the forest, laughing and joking, when they came across an old cabin, hidden deep in the woods. The door was ajar, creaking in the wind. Inside, they found symbols carved into the walls, ancient runes, twisted and jagged. And then, they heard it. A whisper. Faint at first, but growing louder. Come closer, come closer. Terrified, they ran. But the forest was endless, twisting and turning, leading them back to the cabin no matter which direction they took. One by one, his friends disappeared, pulled into the shadows by something unseen. David never saw what it was. But he heard it. The whispers. And the laughter. She's here. She's watching. David was the only survivor, but he never recovered from the trauma. He refused to speak of the forest again. He moved away, changed his name, and disappeared into obscurity. But the curse of Bloodwood Pines didn't end there. To this day, people still hear the whispers when they pass by. The forest. Some say they've seen figures standing between the trees, watching them. Others claim to have felt a presence, something dark and ancient, that wants them to enter. And some never come back. The locals have a warning for anyone who dares to venture near the forest. They say, if you hear the whispers, don't answer. If you see the shadows, don't follow. And if you find the cabin, turn around. Because once she sees you, she never lets you go. What happened in Bloodwood Pines remains a mystery to this day. Was it the work of a serial killer, hidden deep in the woods? A dark spirit tied to the land? Or something far more sinister, an ancient curse that will never be broken? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. The forest is still there. Waiting, watching, and the whispers never stop. Thank you for joining us on Dark Code. Stay safe. And remember, sometimes, it's better to stay out of the woods.